What is going on, survivors? We are back again with another mod review. Today's mod review is going to be the RR-WarWeapons mod. This mod adds a ton of melee weapons that look amazing. We're not only going to test them out and see what they look like, but we're also going to see what kind of damage these guys do too. So, alright, so to start to kick this whole thing off, you will need the RR-WarWeapons smithy to be able to make any of this stuff, and then you'll have axes, hammers, swords, what they call king swords, maces, shields, special weapons, regular swords. You'll unlock the smithy guaranteed at level 1, however, you won't see any of the weapons themselves unlocked standardly till at 51. This is where all of the weapons essentially come out at, is 51. So, that's standard, without any tweaking of the INIs, of course, obviously, but that's what we're looking at here. So, all the weapons get made on here. It's pretty quick and simple about what you need. Hide metal wood to make a lot of the axes. I think most of this is just hide metal wood. Yep, I think even... yeah, pretty much everything is just hide, metal, and wood, with the exception of some of these special weapons that we'll talk about, but we're going to kind of go through each section. So right now we're going to start with the axes. Now the axes alone, these guys are down here in my hotbar. What really changes with a lot of these is the damage, but then the weight and the durability. So there is a kind of a reason to have a lot of these, because one might weigh less, but the other one does more damage and it's heavier, or one might have a better durability standardly. So what we have is the battle axe, the primitive axe, the double axe, steel axe, and then also the butcher, which is kind of like a halberd, sort of, kind of like a short, well, I guess it's not really a halberd because the shaft is really short on this guy, so probably not something like that. Anywho, let's get down to it. So what we have first is the normal battle axe, which is what we had at the very beginning, which looks pretty wicked. Let's see what the damage is on this guy. Boink. So 165, and I haven't increased my melee at all. I specifically mind wiped and didn't put anything into melee, so it's just 165. The thing to pay attention here is that the durability is 140 and the weight's 25. So if we swap over to something else that does relatively the same damage, there's usually a reason behind it. So let's go with the primitive axe. The primitive axe does less damage, of course, but it also ends up weighing less, and the durability is slightly down, so you're getting less weight, essentially, is what you're getting out of here. Double axe, I'm pretty sure, does more damage, but the durability is higher and the weight is super high, so kind of counteracts that. Yeah, so 140. Actually, no, 140. Yeah, 140. So you're basically getting the same stats out of the primitive axe. You're just getting more weight, but then also a lot more durability on top of it as well. Let's go to the steel axe. 140 as well. Looks like the difference with the steel is the weight's a little bit lower, so it's kind of like halfway between the primitive and the double axe, essentially. It's that medium. So let's go to the butcher, which is the last guy, and whack this 150. So a little bit higher damage, but you're also looking at the durability being 150 instead. So a lot of these damage numbers, that might mean something to you, but then you also got to balance the weight of the weapon and then also the durability of it, which I kind of like. So each one is a little bit unique. Not only does it look different, but it's also a bit more unique as well. So that is the axes. Let's move over to the next slot of weapons. And actually, no, let's cam out so you guys can see these. So starting from the first one that we did, the battle axe here. Then we have our primitive axe. Then we have our double axe. And then, which was, those the steel? Is that the steel one? We have a steel axe, and then we have butcher at the end. So those are all your axes. So let's go into the next category. All right, so we're gonna get into the hammers. So the first hammer we have up is the battle hammer. So let's check this guy out. Oh, yep, that's definitely a hammer. Okay, let's whack something. 140. Okay. So it looks like the damage numbers might be pretty much the same across the board. You're just looking at a different weight and durability. So it might be that these weapons across the spectrum of type of weapon essentially does the same thing. It's just skinned a little bit differently, maybe. At least that's what I'm gathering off of this anyway. Let's go to the Royal Blood Warhammer. That sounds pretty cool, right? What does it look like? Oh, that's a whooping stick. Anyhow, 175. There we go. Now we're talking. 175. Holy crap. But it's also weighs 50, so I'm kind of expecting that. So Royal Warhammer. Check that one out. Wait a minute. Is that the same one? Is that the same one out here? Ah, okay. This is where I messed up. Royal Blood Warhammer does blood damage, like kind of like, I would assume, like the blood dragons do. Oh, so this one's like a special one. I meant to hold all the special ones till the end, but I guess I messed that up already. Anyway, so the Royal Warhammer is essentially the same thing, just doesn't do the blood damage. So we have a primitive Warhammer, which has less weight, so we should see a less damage out of this. See less damage out of it. 140. Probably what we expected. And Crowbeak. Weight's definitely low. Okay, let's see. Oh, that looks like it would probably hurt a little bit. Ooh, 140. Okay, not bad, not bad. And then the Royal Crowbeak, I would assume, has more weight, more durability. Let's see if the damage is any different. Damage is a little bit higher, so that's pretty good. So you get a good, decent range of damage mixed in with like the durability and the weight distribution. Plus, you get some special ones too, like we talked about, the Royal Blood Warhammer, which I might hold on to for later just so we can go through all the special ones specifically together about what they do. So that's the hammers. Let's go on to the next category. All right, next category is kind of swords and king swords. These are separated into two different categories, but it's pretty much the same thing. So we're going to get right into that one. What do we got first here? The first one we got is the king sword. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. All right, so king sword. Well, bam, 188. Holy crap, that's a big one. That's a good one. All right, so weight is 30, durability is 150 on this guy. So let's go to the next one. We got the long sword. Which, I like that. Oh, wow. That's, wow, I like the shorter hilt, the thinner hilt, I guess I should say. Let's check this guy out, 140. Probably should have seen that coming with the regular weapons. Steel sword, okay. Weight 15, durability 100. Check this guy out. Oh, that one's cool. It's like a gladius, kind of. Okay. Boink, 140. Same thing as the other one. What's the difference between these two? The durability on the long sword's a little bit higher. Okay, I get that then. So we got a war sword. And I'm whistling for no reason. Oh, that's cool. Man, these weapons look really neat. I kind of should have expected this from an RR mod though. These things always look amazing. Alright. Bam, 165. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Looks like the durability's a little bit lower than the king sword, but the weight goes a little bit higher. Okay, so a battle blade, that's the next one we got, which looks gnarly. Huh. Wow, that looks vicious. Just a little bit. Alright, whap, 140. Weight's 15, durability's 100. So it's pretty much the same thing as the steel sword. That's what I'm getting at that. I'm not sure if that's just to be skinned differently or what. Elven Blade. That's next one. Oh, that looks good. Definitely looks a little... Yeah, okay, alright. 140 on that guy. Weight 10. Durability's 130 on that one, though, so that's a little bit higher. Okay, so now next up we got a Claymore. Which... Did I pick the right one? Why doesn't... I don't know, I think Claymore, I think something else. I thought Claymores were like two-handed swords. I always thought they were anyway. I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert, so let's try this out. 140 again. What are we getting out of this one? Durability. Weight's a little bit higher. Durability's a little bit higher as well. Okay. The katana. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Oh. That's pretty wicked. You know, I don't know if this is just my ineptitude as far as these weapons are concerned, but shouldn't that be facing curved the other way? I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert. Anyway, smack, 140. Durability 125, weight 10. Okay. We get a half moon. Check this guy out. Oh, that's cool. That's what I'm talking about. Well, bam, 150. All right. The damage is a little bit higher on it. Weight's a little bit higher to be expected. Okay. It definitely seems like the ones that do more damage are gonna weigh more, pretty much. And then, what is that? I always struggle with this word. You guys know me in words. Falchion? Falchion? Is that a... I don't know. That's what I'm gonna go with. Leave something in the comments if I'm an idiot. That looks cool. Very saber-ish. Boink. 140. Alright. So, it looks like, in general, for the most part, it seems like the rule is... If the weight's low, the damage is going to be low. If the damage is high, the weight's going to be high. And durability kind of changes depending on the style. Is kind of what I'm getting out of this, unless I'm not reading enough into it. But that seems to be all the swords, so let's go to the next category. All right, next category we have is the maces. So the first one we have is the club. Let's take a look at that. Let's look at the stat line real quick. Weight 15, durability 110. That looks kind of cool, actually, for like a simple club. I was thinking it was going to be more primitive than that, but that actually looks pretty cool. Boink, 5 damage. These do something else? I'm wondering if this thing doesn't do torpor damage. That's a little odd to me. That it only does 5 damage. I'm thinking this thing does torpor damage. That's what I'm thinking. Don't quote me on that. I assume it works like the normal club and does torpor damage. Maybe. I don't know. Might have to science that one. Alright, so on to the Einar. I think is that Einar? Ooh, that looks like it would be a little painful. Not something you would want to be on the receiving end of. Anyhow, what? 140. Okay. Kind of to be expected with the earlier ones. Weight 15, durability 100. What do we got next? The Galahad. Ooh, that looks vicious. Oop, 140. Yeah. Weight's a little bit higher. Durability's a little bit higher. It says due to its heavy head, it's a very difficult weapon to wield, but will break more than a bone in a hit. I wonder if some of these have more static effects with other people, you know, against other players or dinos. I'm not entirely certain. Primitive Mace. Let's check this guy out. Yep. Ooh. Wait a minute, hold on. Is that the Mace? That's the Mace, sorry. This is the Primitive Mace. I had the Morningstar out. Primitive Mace, 140. I'm noticing a trend here. Weight 20, damage 130. Alright, let's take a look at this guy. Well, bam, with the Morningstar, 140 as well. So it looks like they're all stacked at 140. The weight and durability stack or changes depending on which mace you're currently using. They all do look pretty cool though. Moving on to our last bit. Alright, so now we actually have the special weapons, which is a couple that we talked about earlier. We did the hammer technically already, but this is the Water Elven Blade, the Royal Blood Warhammer, and the Royal Fire Sword. Now, these kind of look like the Royal or the Elven Blades already, from my understanding, but you're getting better stuff out of it. So the Elven Blade still does 140 damage, but it does like that water damage thing that the Crystal Wyverns do. The water ones, anyway. What else do we got? We got the Blood Warhammer that does, we already kind of looked at that one. That one does blood damage like the Blood Wyverns do. And then lastly, we have the Royal Sword that actually does fire damage on top of everything else as well with 188 damage. Is pretty ridiculous. So obviously the damage numbers are still the same as their regular counterparts, but they're getting status effect things on top of it, which is pretty gnarly. Your shields are essentially, they're just shields. They all seem to be kind of doing the same thing. The difference is the weight versus the durability on each one of these, and then obviously the idea that these things look pretty cool. So this one is the Primitive Crow Shield. So let's go to the round shield, which still looks pretty awesome. That stuff looks so cool looking. What else we got? The Tower Shield, which looks really great. I really like that, and it looks really good too. I'm glad that like it just fits really well. The War Shield, that might be my favorite one. That might be my favorite one. I don't know if it's just because it goes well with the sword, but it looks awesome. And then we have the wooden Tower Shield as well. It's even got, oh wow, okay, never mind. I might actually like the Tower Shield the best. This looks cool. I like these. Man, this looks neat. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff out of this mod. I like it for a lot of different reasons. The idea of incorporating so many other weapons into more of a primitive base server. You obviously have that option, which is pretty cool. But I like it of being, having that random, that choice of, do I want to carry a heavier weapon and potentially do more damage, or do I want to carry a lighter weapon that, you know, just does a little bit less damage but doesn't take as much weight. Definitely fits into the class. This is definitely more of an RP sort of, obviously, sort of mod, but I think on a PvE server, when if you're running more primitive style stuff, I think it looks a little silly with me out here in tech armor, but outside of that, I think it looks pretty cool. I like it. I would highly recommend it. I recommend, honestly, just about any RR mod that I can possibly think of. These things are always smooth. They never have any issues. And they just look awesome. The decor mods look awesome. So I saw this one and I said, I want to embody this one. I know a lot of Ark players tend to like the primitive version a little bit better, so I figured I'd plug this one in there. We will have a link to the Steam workshop page in the description of the video, so you guys can check that out at your leisure. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. I will see you all on the next one.